Success Great podcast with your host Hussein Talib. I have with me in this episode Mark Stern to talk about how to optimize the customer experience to increase revenue and extend the lifetime value of the customer. And we are in business, and you want to serve your people, you want to give them the help that they need, and also you want them to stick as much as possible with your business. From consulting national brands to pioneering the future of digital meets physical marketing, Mark's journey is a blend of national brand marketing experience and out of the box innovation. After a bold corporate exit into entrepreneurship, Mark Stern is the founder of the Custom Box Agency, an experience design agency that specializes in optimizing a customer journey and enhancing customer experience through the direct mail. Mark, welcome to this episode of the Success Secret podcast.
Thrilled to be here. Thank you for having me.
Awesome to have you here, Mark. So, first of all, because this is the Success Secret podcast, I want to start off by asking you, you are an entrepreneur, you are in business, you took also, I would say, a huge leap going from corporate to entrepreneurship. So, what does success means to you?
Yeah, it's such a good question. It's funny, if you had asked me this when I was back in corporate America, it would have been such a different definition. But I was wired growing up that there's a natural progression to life, that you graduate high school, then you go to college, and you graduate college, and then you get the job, and then you go back to grad school, and then you get the job after grad school, and it's, happy life, picket fences. This is what success looks like. And that lens kind of shattered for me in 2012. I got my MBA at Duke University in North Carolina. I had this job at Deloitte Consulting. It's a big consulting firm doing strategy consulting for them. And I was $165,000 in student loan debt. And I had this entrepreneurial spirit, but like by the book, people would have said, "Oh, you're on this path of success." But it felt heavy. And when you have that much student loan, you kind of question to say, is this what this was? Is this the pathway? And, now flash forward, it took me till 2018 to leave corporate America, but I would look at success more so as, have you created something that fuels your soul in a way that you are excited every day and inspired every day by what you get to do or who you get to collaborate with? And that is for me, like when I say like what we're building with Custom Box Agency, my team is everything. We look at team as family. Every client project we take on is a new challenge, and it's just exciting. It's something fresh. And so in my mind, that's kind of where that if I could wake up and just be very excited about what's ahead of me, I feel like, that's my definition. It's not the Lamborghinis. It's not the fancy houses and vacation homes. I don't need a lot of money to live. I just want to wake up happy.
That's very important. Like you need to feel that you are basically alive and you are helping yourself, your people around you, and serving some kind of community around you also.
Yeah,
So now,
100%.
for you, what exactly triggered you to make this jump? Because you worked for big companies. They are like these companies are not small companies. Like
Yeah.
generally, all a dream of working for these businesses, right? So, so what happened at certain moment, at certain time in your life, or at certain point when you are sitting in the desk at that time in the job that you thought you want to start this thing? And did you work in a customer, let's say, customer service area of these businesses, or how was it exactly, the atmosphere of things around you?
So if you know me, I'm such a loyalist that if I do something, I go so all in. So I had one job before business school and one job after business school until like leaving that job and starting a business. And what it was 2012. Started working at Deloitte Consulting. It's an amazing company. My role was a strategy consultant. So I was a road warrior. What I did was every Monday at 4:45 a.m., I'd get in a cab to go to the airport and fly out to wherever my client was. And then Thursday or Friday of that week, I'd fly back to Austin and then do it again the next Monday. So we're talking for 6 years straight. I was a road warrior, waking up every single Monday, living out of airports and hotels weekly. It sounds crazy, but that was my life. And you go to the client because like in that line of business, it's important to have the FaceTime. I went to a conference. This was back in 2013, a conference that I had no business being at. I don't know if you've heard of the company Mind Valley. Have you ever heard of Mind Valley? Vishen
Yeah.
Lakhiani, he had a conference that I came across like on a YouTube recommended video, a conference called A-Fest. It's called A-Fest today. Back then it was known as Awesomeness Fest, and then they eventually changed the name. But it was just a point in my career that I was like, I need something to look forward to in my life because I'm working so much. And when I went to this conference, that's where I was introduced to the world of online marketing, digital marketing, traffic and conversion. If you've heard of that event, digitalmarketer.com, ClickFunnels, all of these digital marketing assets. And it kind of broke me a little bit because I thought that the path I was on, you know, the natural path to life, as like I grew up with high school, college, grad school, work. That was it. And to go to this conference and meet these people who are digital marketers, creating their own product, living life on their own terms, it was like a world that I did not know existed at all. And so it was like such a high, but then it was such an emotional low to then go back into the corporate American realm after being exposed to a different way to be fulfilled. And that kind of stuck with me for about 6 years, from 2012 to 2018. And essentially what happened was I started going to any conference I could go to, Funnel Hacking Live for the ClickFunnels world, traffic and conversion. I started buying courses and consuming them. But the reality is, as long as I was at Deloitte, Deloitte owns everything you produce in the firm and outside the firm. So this idea of having a side hustle could not happen with the job that I was employed in. And it all came to a head when back in 2017, I realized I'm spending all this money on these products and coaching programs because it's kind of a panacea, a medicine that's like, I'm not addressing the underlying issue. And the big event that happened for me was, this was Christmas of 2017. Between Christmas and New Year's, I went to bed one night. This was on December 27th. I remember it vividly, and had this like crazy premonition that if I don't leave this job, it would kill me, because there's the lifestyle of living in the air as much as I was, and the high stress and high pressure. And that was ultimately what pushed me over the edge to say, I came back. It was January 3rd, 2018, told the partner I reported to at Deloitte, I love it here, but I got to go. And I had no idea what that backup plan would be. But all I knew was if I released the pressure of this corporate job, it will at least like provide the capacity to start to get more creative and think about, what do I want to do? So that was the biggest thing for me. Was it was a scary moment because there was a lot of what ifs, and you're going against everything that you've known at that time. But like looking back, I'm so grateful I did that, because I don't think I would have been able to build a side hustle even if I was allowed to, just because I just couldn't focus the right attention and energy to it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So you mentioned it was scary because you thought yourself,
What if it doesn't work?
I'm jumping into something, I don't know if it will work.
Yeah.
You didn't have the belief at the beginning?
I had the belief that if I like released like the gunk in my head that was my corporate job, if I could release all the like how much that job was occupying in my headspace, that I could figure it out. But you never know. Like, I think that the biggest realization that I had was, if you're familiar with like the game of checkers and the game of chess, like the way I describe corporate versus becoming an entrepreneur is like checkers versus chess. Like the game board to play checkers and the game board to play chess, it's the same game board. And so like when I left corporate America to become an entrepreneur, I kept on trying to force, I'm a high performer in corporate America, but why am I not figuring out this game of entrepreneurship? And that was a struggle for the first year. And it took me to realize, am I playing like chess with checkers rules? Meaning if I try to play chess with checkers rules, I will fail. If I try to play checkers with chess rules, I'm going to fail. Am I playing the right game? And that was the biggest thing to say, okay, Mark, learn how to play the game of entrepreneurship. And oh, by the way, all these years of corporate America, once you figure out how to play the new game, those are what make you unique, because those are the experiences that you had to get to here. So that's like your own strategic advantage. So once I had that lens and was like, this is a different game, then the belief started to really pile on to say, okay, I can figure this out. And that's when the game started changing for me in a big way.
Yeah, definitely. So, you talked about going to multiple events, because when you change to something, usually I would assume like certain work would do certain things. But when you are an entrepreneur, you would think you want different things for the business. How would I get the sale? What should I do to get traffic? Would I do to get lead generation? Like multiple things at the same time. Your head start to like move left and right. So a lot of things to think about at the beginning. But now, what made the you mentioned it now. So what is the point and the time frame exactly that you thought to yourself, now this is where I want to be, and I want to build this business to a place where it has or effect on people around you and people that you work with?
So custom box agency definitely was not the first business when I left corporate America, but it was one of those things that I don't think I would have ever, if you told me years ago that custom box agency would be my business, I would have probably said you lost your mind, because it was never on the forefront of my mind. It was an afterthought for the other products and services we were building. And so essentially, the core of our business of what we do, and you can see these tiles behind me, is we'll build these custom box experiences based on how you're operating your business and the products and services that you have. And we can build boxes and stories of any shapes and size. It didn't start with saying, I'm gonna build this business, and like, how do we really define your customer journey and support it with a box that we send them to help them along the way to get results faster. What ended up happening was I did if you've ever heard of a virtual summit, this virtual conference, this is like the first thing I did out of the gates, because someone told me this is a great way to get leads and generate content. And I was just brand new, asking these people who had been in the game, hey, can I interview you? And when I did this, someone told me I needed to interview like 30 to 40 people. So of course I interviewed over 40, which is nuts. And I don't recommend that to anyone to interview that many people out of the gates for the first event that you do. But what we did was, after I interviewed everyone, these 40 different influencers, we transcribed, and then I built this resource called Entrepreneur Elements. It's a publication. I'm trying to see if I have one on me nearby. It's somewhere in the office. But it spotlighted every speaker. And one of the things that was really cool is when I printed this like physical publication, and shipped it out to all the speakers and then sold it for anyone who attended the conference, people did something that I did not expect, which was speakers started doing Facebook Lives or taking pictures showing off their spread, like where they were featured in this publication I had put together. Recipients who bought the program started sharing it with their Facebook groups. And so this ripple effect was happening because I sent them something physical, and it was just a simple publication. Imagine taking a lead magnet, a tripwire, a fraction of one of your products and services, and creating something physical and tangible around it. The organic traffic that started to happen as a result of just complementing something physical with this digital experience instantly was a key point of differentiation that people were like, how did you do that? And so the next time we did a summit, this is a few months later, I wanted to learn more about high ticket sales, but I didn't want to interview 40 people. I only interviewed 10. And I actually have the tile right here, because this was box one for Custom Box Agency, this high ticket online one right here. And we built a box experience around it. And the same thing happened. People who attended the event and got the box started doing these videos, and we're getting all this organic traffic because of the box. And that was kind of where it was like, okay, I've already tested this a few times. Tying something physical to something digital is a new opportunity that people aren't really tapping into, and to start thinking about it beyond a swag box. We say swag is stuff without a goal. That's what swag means. Stop sending people swag, give them the tools they need. All of a sudden, people just started asking me again and again, how are you doing these box experiences? And I launched a mini product that was the custom box challenge, teaching people how to do this. And I did that because I was like, hey, just buy the challenge, but look at this business I have over here. That was my core business at the time. It was a virtual event business. And everyone kept on going back to the boxes, and the challenge took off in a way that I was like, okay, maybe I need to pay more attention and build a business around this, because people would go through the challenge and then ask me to build a box, which was the complete opposite reason why I built the challenge. I built the challenge to buy back my time, not to launch another business off of it. And then that was 2019. At the beginning of 2020, the world was in quarantine because of COVID. And I had this virtual event business and this box business, and a mentor of mine gave me the best feedback I could have ever received at that point. He's like, I ask people, who is Mark Stern, half of them say Mark is the virtual event guy, half of them say Mark is the custom box guy. He's like, you're confusing people because you're leading with two separate things. Which one are you? And you would think at the beginning of COVID, when everyone's trying to figure out this virtual event game, it would have made more sense to continue on the business I was building in virtual events. And instead, I killed that business and went all in on custom box agency in 2020. And that one pivot took all of these virtual event experts that were popping up overnight from being competitors to all of a sudden being people that I could collaborate with, because now I could partner with them with my box services. And, that year alone, we took this brand new business from zero to over $1 million just by the nature of the product that we had. And we did that with no marketing. It was word of mouth and just having a good quality product and a good quality perspective in terms of how we thought about that customer journey and customer experience.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That's very important. But the switch that you made, speaking of virtual summits, like I have done too, and they are so, it requires a lot of work.
Oh my goodness, yes.
I, I am planning another one, but in May probably, because it needs a lot of work. So now, the most important thing for a business, not only like acquire a new client, which is, I believe it could be more important for businesses, is to actually retain the clients that we already have, right? Because this is the thing, the more you have the client with you, whether it's a subscription model, whatever it is, the model of the business is, you will have revenue from that customer or client for the time, a longer time to come, right? So now, from your experience doing these two, made you transition from corporate to business, from business to business. So what are the most important things that any client, do you think, is looking for?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, at the end of the day, there's a couple of things that when someone is buying your products and services, they're buying two things. They're buying the desired outcome that you're selling. So if you're selling, how to start a business online, or if you're selling, like teaching people Facebook ads or whatever the thing is, you could be a professional service provider, get well, lose weight, whatever the thing is, people are buying the outcome that you're promising, but they're also buying you as their trusted mentor. So you have to understand that you and your role is that there are so many people on this earth that do exactly what you and I do. The thing that makes you unique is you. So don't undervalue you and like how you do things and how you show up. It's part of what they're buying when they're buying it. And what do people want? They want results. And so this is why I love that you framed it, because I could not agree more to say, I really think Custom Box Agency is in the business of retention. And so many people are chasing after the next customer, the next customer. Well, the good news is you don't need to have this big acquisition fee and constantly have a new customer when you start to think about how else can I serve people. I've heard Russell say this. I don't know if Russell got this. And when I say Russell, I mean Russell Brunson, but he's used the example that, why do people stop buying from you? They stop buying from you for like two main reasons. One is you anger them. They no longer align with you because you said or did something that falls out of line of their own values. Or number two is you stop selling to them. And that's a big thing that I see it happens, is that when we think about your people, it's not your decision if your customers buy from you. That's their decision. And people get so in their head about pricing and their product. It's not your decision if someone buys from you. It's theirs. So knowing that, I can't tell you how many times I've delved into businesses and they've only like spotlighted one of their products in their like total offer suite of things that they could do to serve these people. And so when people get done with the products, one, they may not know there's other products exist. Therefore, you're like reducing lifetime value. Two, they may provide you the pathway for what the next steps should be for the product or service you should sell, or the more higher ticket product you should sell. Because if you get them results, the next question they're going to ask you is what's next. They're going to want to give you more money because you are a trusted mentor. And the last thing I'll say on this is, when I started this game and started like delving deep in the online space, I was like following probably, I don't know, 6 to 8 different big digital marketing influencers and consuming everything they were putting out there. And the reality is some of their thought leadership, it contradicted one another. And so you're trying to force all of a sudden with your own marketing strategy, a square peg to fit into a round hole when it really didn't make sense. I truly believe that people don't want multiple mentors. I think business owners are just trying to find one trusted mentor that's going to move the needle in their business. And I think that that's important. That's part of the retention game, is understanding that they may be leaning on you as their trusted mentor because they've tried other things and it just didn't work for them. So this is kind of why it's like we as business owners sometimes need to get out of our own way, because like creating products and having that natural segue could give you so much more predictability in your business, because you're able to continue to serve the same people who are already bought into you as their trusted mentor and you as that guide to help take them to the next level.
Definitely. You mentioned a lot of points here. So, looking for mentors, this is what we do because we think the next one is maybe better than the previous one. A
Yeah.
lot of things, but actually, you have to take, from my opinion, is like you have to take what you learn into action. And when you do that, you would know if it's a good fit, it will work or not. But also, you talked about values and also pricing. So, how did you like pricing your services? How did you look at it? Did you look into the market and see, for example, some competition, and how would they do that? Did you price higher, lower? On what basis did you have this idea of your own pricing and look into things? Did you think that I will provide better value for the clients and the price does not matter even if it's higher?
So there's a couple things that are really important to note that I had to learn the hard way about pricing. Is that one, it starts with really understanding who your avatar is. If you know your customer and who you're serving and know a little bit about their story, then like it makes it so much easier to start to engineer an offer for them. Everyone assumes that, oh, I need to be competitive, I need to have a low price. Low price is not necessarily the best thing, depending on whatever industry you're in. So one of the things I'll tell you is that there have been products and services that I was like, this is exactly what I need. This is what I want to buy. And then they revealed the price, and the price was so far below what I valued it. They may have said this is a $500 program. And I was like, oh, that's a $5,000 program. Instantly, they disqualified me because the pricing was too low. And I saw that pricing and I'm like, if it's that low, it's going to cater to a different individual that they may or may not be trying for. And that may not be me. When I got started, and it was like fresh out of the gates, not knowing how to price my services. This is pre-Custom Box agency. And I think this is a really cool story because I launched my first virtual summit. It was called the Clickpreneur Summit. This was back in 2018. It's so funny because I don't know, I need to build a YouTube show that is like interviewing entrepreneurs with all the logos they've had throughout the course of being an entrepreneur, because I think we all have tons of logos and probably tons of domains. But what was really cool was at the end of the Clickpreneur Summit, this virtual summit, I wanted to launch a little coaching program. And for the first class, I wanted 5 to 8 people, somewhere in that range. I didn't know what to price my program. And so I priced it at $597, so $600 for this like 8-week program that I'd put together. And then at the last second, I was like, you know what? I'm going to add an option that if you want 2 one-on-ones with me, it's going to be $997. So you had a $597 and a $997 option. So 600 or 1,000 if we just round it up. And I just put it out there thinking like, I don't know who's going to take what. we had 6 people join. All 6 took the $1,000 offer, which instantly told me that I undervalued my services. And the next time that we did it, I bumped it up and said, like, you get 2 one-on-ones with me in addition to this coaching program for $2,000. Otherwise, it's $1,000 for the program. So increase the price. And still the vast majority took the $2,000 price point. So that's kind of where like price testing is very important, because had I not done that, I would have just assumed the $597 one option price point. You know, I would never had data to say that's too low. That one little like last minute addition, and especially with a beta, like I sold 2 one-on-ones with me. If you were in a beta with me and I launched a beta product, I would have probably done it for free, just because I want the insights to make my product better. So whether or not they bought it, like it wouldn't have made a difference. I still would have probably met with them, but just to see how they valued me more than I valued myself was really telling. And then with Custom Box Agency, you know, we to like put our pricing and get it to where it is, it has been a multi-year effort of testing. And one of the realizations early on was we had a much lower price point when Custom Box Agency was getting started, because when we built out these box experiences, we used to let our clients, if they wanted to contribute and do some of the design themselves and like save a little money with us, that they could create their own assets to stick inside the box and we'd handle the fulfillment part of it. And that model quickly demonstrated that it just didn't work. It added so much more work to us that I remember taking our product pricing and we 3x'd it. I think it was at the time, you know, a build out for us, we priced it $5K. We increased our price to $15,000. And I was really nervous about that. This was years ago that we did this. But the reason that we did that was because we wanted to make sure that we weren't attracting clients that were like, wouldn't let us take full control over the build out experience, because we're able to move faster. We're able to deliver high quality. It's a more cohesive experience inside the box. We're not babysitting the clients to try and get these assets in time to make it for a launch. And that one little pivot was such a big shift that we attracted our right fit clients. They were no longer they wanted us to design all the assets in the box. They wanted us to control the experience. And that's why they were willing to pay that higher price point. So that little shift completely changed the dynamic of the types of clients that we were getting, just because of pricing and also making sure that what we were delivering as a result of that price fell in line with what we were trying to achieve and the clients that we were trying to attract.
That's very impressive. So now,
pricing's fascinating.
yeah, pricing is like, it's about testing. So you have to do that. You wouldn't know that. Like in my 2 summits, really call them that much of a success, but you have to test. And then the third one, it would be different. Because you would learn, even if it's not success, you would have certain angles that you would learn from. You would have certain perspective that you can learn from the experience. This is why it's important to take things into action and put it into play. Now, speaking of play, like what kind of advice that was a bad advice or the worst advice that someone told you?
I do have an answer for this one. So I think the worst advice that I received, and I get the merit of why this influencer said this, but when I was first getting started in the online marketing game, I don't want to drop who the influencer is, but what I will say is what he was pushing was this idea of, before starting the business you want to start a practice business and put yourself out there with a practice business, so you can learn like email marketing, you can learn how to build a funnel, you can build all these fundamentals, but not burn out like the industry you actually want to work in. And so I remember starting off building a practice business. I think I built a practice business. I am a dog owner. I don't know if you have any pets, but I have a little corgi at home, little dog. And because I had just gotten her, I did this practice business on like how to go about finding and seeking, you know, the perfect dog for you. But I had no passion or interest in it. And so that's kind of why it was like, you know, what I learned when I joined like Russell Brunson's world and got a little bit deeper into kind of that community was like, build a business and the thing that really excites and fuels you. And it doesn't matter if it's what Russell would call a bloody red market, if you know red ocean versus blue ocean concepts, if it's a bloody red ocean, meaning there's so much competition there, if that's an industry that fuels your soul and excites you, you can always carve off your own niche off of that can be like your own blue ocean off of a red ocean. There's always a way to spin it that makes it a new opportunity for your people. And I wish I had just jumped in and like focused on the thing that I was most excited about. And even if like those first videos were super awkward, were messy, were you know, just not how I necessarily want to represent myself, leave them out there, because as you continue to grow and master and get better, you become more relatable, because people can go find your earlier videos and realize, oh, this person is just like me. They got started someday. They were rough at the beginning. No one just wakes up and is just perfect online. Like speaking on Zoom and doing my first Zoom interview back in 2018 was the most awkward thing, because I wasn't used to leveraging the Zoom platform to interview someone. Talking to a camera and into a screen, I always met in person. It was corporate America. We meet face to face. So that's kind of what I would say, is that this whole idea of a practice business, I mean, I'm not a believer in it. Go after the thing that excites you, because you're going to show up differently. And like the energy you put into it is going to just represent itself so differently, because it's something that you're truly excited about. And you can worry about getting finessed and like finding your voice. That takes time. Give yourself permission to take time to do that. So
Definitely.
yeah.
I'm with you that some things like we need time to develop ourselves. And though myself, you have to push yourself in every way. So this is one of the reasons, like I encourage one like to go live like this one now. So now if someone asks you like in the basic fundamentals, someone is starting their business, what are the basic fundamentals to have this customer retention as 1, 2, 3 points as a takeaway?
So there's a couple different angles we could take here. If we're talking about you're starting a business, what are the things that I think are critical? That's one way. If we're going to leverage it from a customer retention space, if you want to go in, that's a different angle that I can take. But what I will say is, from a business, I'll do a hybrid if that works for you.
Yeah.
From a business standpoint, I can't stress the importance of finding some degree of a support community or a mentor. And the reason I think that this is something that's really important is because we are so limited by ourselves. Like we hold ourselves back so much more than someone else would hold us back. And part of it is that we're limited between, you know, what's between our ears, our own mindset. And one of my inherent beliefs is I believe that it's part of the role of the entrepreneur to hold a bigger vision for your clients and customers than they hold for themselves. And what I mean by that is, like for me right now, one of my mentors is I'm trying to get back in shape. I've been so out of shape since COVID, and I used to do these Spartan mud runs and all these things and really get out. And, you know, this year is a pivotal year since I'm turning 40 this year. That as I turn into my 40s, I want to make sure that, you know, I'm as in the best shape possible. I found a mentor whose vision for me was for me to lean down to have a six-pack. For me, I just wanted to be healthy, but I didn't ever think of myself as being capable of having that. So to have a mentor that holds that vision for me has been game-changing. I can't tell you how many times in my business with launching Custom Box Agency, a mentor stepping in and providing me the belief when I doubted myself. So that is one thing that I can't stress enough. When we're talking about business and things in your business that I think are really critical, yes, it is critical to know who your avatar is. And don't be afraid to have a conversation with them, reach out to them, engage them. They're like, don't lock yourself in a room and build a product. I can't tell you how many online marketers or online business owners that they think they know what their people want, and they lock themselves in a room and film an entire course or product or whatever it may be. And then they put it out there. And I'm just like your people will give you the breadcrumbs for exactly what they need. So make sure you're engaging them, because that's the best intel, not you being stuck in your head, talking with other people. And that being the case, if I said, what is the most pivotal thing, especially when we're talking about customer retention, it's understanding the customer journey. And what I mean by that is when you're selling a product or service, you're selling a desired outcome. Whatever that desired outcome may be, I will help you get in the best shape of your life. I will help you grow your business to 6 figures or 7 figures. Whatever that desired outcome is, you now have your back anchor on the customer journey. Because if that's what success is, after someone has navigated, and when we say customer journey, what we mean by this is how people navigate through your products and services from onboarding, which we give the name start here, from start here to the desired outcome. And when we work with clients, the reason that that's the first thing that we do is the second that you know how to guide your customers from start here or onboarding and how to navigate your products and services all the way through getting them that result. If you have that pathway designed, and it could be as simple as phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, a simple structure. Now I can show you as you progress through that journey with working with me, that you are no longer at the beginning, you're in phase 1. You're no longer in phase 1, you're in phase 2. So I get to celebrate the micro steps to getting to the desired outcome. And that to me is so critical, because the second that that's defined, not only do I see the pathway or can I see where people are getting stuck, I can introduce new ways to monetize the business because I can see things that I can create to support them along the way. I can find ways to serve them at a higher level, because once they get that result, you're probably going to create a new problem for their business. And that's another way to retain them, because you know it like the back of your hand, how they're going to navigate and get a result. You have confidence as a business owner because you can see, like, if you just trust the pathway, you'll get the outcome. So that's why for me, customer journey and understanding that piece is so critical, is that we try and overcomplicate it, and then we engineer something that every single customer we get has a different experience. And all of a sudden it creates this internal business chaos that is not scalable. And sometimes people don't want more, people want less, and people value their time. So getting them results faster and giving them what they need, they're looking for that mentor that's going to guide them to the outcome as to why they're working with you in the first place. So that journey to me is I can't build a box experience without it.
Definitely. People at the end of the day, they want the resolution, like they want the fix fast, like especially nowadays in general, everyone's everything like yesterday. So you want to provide help or service or whatever it is, the solution for them as quickly as humanly possible, with the less steps there is, the better.
And what I will say is, if you're trying to visualize how to lay out a journey map, think about any board game you may have ever played. A board game board, a Monopoly board, Chutes and Ladders, Candyland. I don't know, do you all have these games in Jordan as well?
Yeah.
And so it's like all of these are a pathway from beginning to end. So just think about it that way, is you can build a one pager that says, here's the process that you're about to go through. First, we're going to start with onboarding. Then you're going to learn in phase 1 the fundamentals of how to, now if we're in the digital marketing space, fundamentals to understand the realm of digital marketing space. And then we can choose our channels or whatnot. And then it can be visibility. But to show them that pathway it's not only a pathway that is showing them how to get to the result faster. You could take that same pathway and put it in your sales materials to say, hey, listen, we have our own methodology to guide you to the result. So not only is the journey map something that it guides them as they're into your program, it also can become a really cool sales piece to showcase like how you're going to get people that desired outcome.
Definitely. Well, Mark, thank you very much. I really enjoyed this. You provided us with great stories, your transformation from corporate to business, and how you found this solution for the corporate business. So, where can people can learn more about you and get in touch with you?
Yeah. Thank you, by the way. This was a lot of fun. So thank you. You can go to our website. There's tons of examples of our work on our website. That's customboxagency.com. Or you can always hit me up on Facebook. I'm pretty approachable. So if you don't hear from me, you'll hear from me or a member of my team. But those are probably the two easiest ways. But we're friendly. We're happy to help. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Mark, for being with me on this episode of the Success Great podcast.
Awesome. Thank you.